I am going to formally begin. Welcome to the fourth Prime Minister debate. My name is Asa Ward, and I'm today's moderator. This is one of the most important events in Curnon's history, as Curnon's first ever. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm working with a modified script. I'm restarting. Welcome to Curnon's. I fucking hate myself. Welcome to the fourth Prime Minister debate. My name is Asa Ward, and I'm today's debate moderator. This is one of the most important events in Curnon's history, as one of Curnon's first ever elections take place in a free and fair democratic system. We are taking this very seriously. It's important that the people are well informed, and this debate will allow that to happen. There will be three main parts. First, I'll be asking each candidate different questions relating to policy, followed by a few minutes of debate over the topic. Secondly, I will be asking some quick-fire questions. And thirdly, we will ask some questions from the public. Throughout this debate, I encourage the candidates to be respectful of each other, but to equally encourage you to address your opponent and their policies. This is a debate, after all. At no point will the audience be permitted to interrupt, but they may use the designated audience discussion chat to freely talk about the debate and are recommended to prepare questions for the third section of this debate. Second to finally, I'd like to remind you all that this debate is being recorded and may be published at the discretion of the Curnon government. We reserve the right to record all of those speaking and those present in the stage channel. Before we get started, I would like to apologize for this debate taking place 8 minutes late and without the Social Democratic Party Prime Minister candidate Willow. I believe that's how their name is pronounced. With that out of the way, let's get this started. Which one of you would like to go first? You can both unmute, by the way.
I can go first, that's fine.
All right. How do you plan to come from... Wait, no, is this the right script? Shoot. Yes, this is. All right, sorry. How do you plan to promote inclusivity and diversity within Curnon's virtual community and in real life?
Well, I'm all about inclusivity and diversity. My policies have always been about that. Really, the best thing we can do is continue to do what we do now, using Curnon's moderation to clarify that bigotry and hatred of any group of any kind is unacceptable, and that those who participate in it will be banned. I have zero tolerance for it whatsoever. That will help promote inclusivity. Curnon, as it is already a very inclusive society, whether it be sexual or racial or any of the sort minorities.
All right. Patrick, you can go.
I like to say that Curnon needs housing. We need to make room for everybody, man. We need to. What I mean by that is we need to just like. We need to make room. Like, yeah, people are comfortable, but like we need to make room. We need to like generate incentive and bring everybody in, all of them. And from that point, we make everybody feel comfortable by being around with the other people. Like, we'll have a diverse, set of policy. We'll have a diverse set of we'll have everything. We'll have a diverse everything, and they won't feel uncomfortable from their neighbors, and they'll feel great. And we just like promote inclusivity, the people being with each other. That's what I'm saying.
All right. How do you plan to handle diplomacy, outreach, and strengthening in pre-existing ties between nations?
So, what I plan to do is, in order to promote ties between nations, first of all, we must outreach more to our allies that already exist, and work more with those allies that already exist to strengthen those ties so that we may continue to hold those allies. And our current Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Curnon, does a good job with that, does a good job with diplomacy and everything, and I quite like him. I want him to continue to work in my administration, and I also to outreach more to new people. Well, we already have the requirements for diplomacy in Curnon. Ultimately, we need to find like-minded micronations, those that want to protect LGBT rights and other rights as well, and who don't tolerate pair bigotry. Those who are like Curnon, to have relations with us. And on top of that, I also want to outreach more to North Carolina nation specifically because I want to focus here at home as well, because I think having nations within our own community of North Carolina would be great to have. And those provide so many opportunities, like the potential for real life meetings and all that.
All right, Patrick.
So, for foreign policy, I don't think it's so much that we need to do outreach, because I'm afraid that outreach can turn to overreach, and it's gonna like snowball into like this big thing, and I feel like Parliament controls too much over foreign affairs right now. So, what we need to do is allow the Bureau of Foreign Affairs to dictate itself. We need to let the Secretary of Foreign Affairs actually represent Curnon. And I do plan on keeping count on, if I'm elected. But what we need to do is let count on, or any Secretary of Foreign Affairs, actually control foreign affairs with the advice of Parliament. Parliament shouldn't dictate foreign affairs. But in that same vein, we need to also focus more on ourselves and make sure that we don't become too reliant on other nations.
All right. There has been an increasing concern within Curnon over republicanism, and if and how their voices can be heard in the nation enough to form a Curnon right wing potentially. How would you ensure that all voices in the community are heard, even those in the minority?
Well, I'm the definition of those voices being heard. I'm Curnon's top conservative politician. I'm not nearly as conservative as the Republican Party is, but I am duly more to the right politically, and I am proof that it's possible for those voices to be heard. I am proof that stuff can happen, and being that minority, I do have the interests of those people in mind. I do want to make their voices heard. I do want candidates like that to have a chance to be elected in Curnon. I do want to prove that's possible. I already have proven that it is possible for just a standard center-right politician, not far-right like the Republican Party of the United States is, but just a standard center-right politician who's not hateful at all, to win in Curnon and to have an actual chance in Curnon, even if they are the minority in general within Curnon.
And Patrick?
I think the thing here is that we're worrying about too much about the distinction. Like, we're treating this like political belief as this kind of like the stigmatized, this kind of like, kind of like shunned to the side, kind of like minority. What we need to do is kind of like break that down. Like, they aren't Republican, they aren't conservative, they just have beliefs. Because, yeah, ideology exists, but you can't let it define somebody. You can't say that, like, oh, that guy's a socialist, that guy's a Republican, that guy's a conservative. You just gotta treat them as, like, their own person. And once they feel like a person, they'll feel more comfortable. They'll feel more comfortable. It ties in back to the whole, my thing about just, like, make people feel comfortable with each other. We gotta encourage people to treat other people like people. It's just simple as that.
All right. Within the past few months, Curnon has gotten into quarrels with other nations and has faced attacks against it and its members. How do you plan to prevent these altercations and potential hostilities from happening or worsening in the future?
Well, ultimately, most of these quarrels and attacks from these people are from people who really don't matter. They really ain't worth nothing, to be honest. Is Pontunia really worth anything? No. Is Kavanaugh really worth anything? No. Ultimately, we're going to have haters always because it's just inherent with the way our nation is set up. We can try to prevent it, of course. We want friendly discourse with as many people as possible. But ultimately, we can't avoid haters. And we will always have a fair share of haters. And the truth is, ultimately, to just not give them attention, you know? And of course, if they're trying to hurt Curnon, give him attention then to try to stop him from hurting Curnon, but don't give him any more attention than is necessary. Don't validate them. That's the ultimate truth, because once you invalidate these people, once you don't give them the attention that they want, you know, eventually they'll stop trying. I've seen it firsthand.
All right.
Me?
Yeah.
This is kind of hard for me because, on one hand, yeah, it does get to a point where, like, you have to draw a line between, okay, this is kind of just, like, frivolous and we can just kind of, like, ignore it and they don't really matter that much and we can just, like, cut ties. But there also comes, like, a point after that line where, okay, this is serious and we need to treat this as, like, a security thing. So, for beyond that line, I think we need to expand our national security resources. If I do get elected, I plan on keeping the current 3IA administration, except just merge the dormant Bureau of National Security into the 3IA. But I do plan to expand those resources and to build, like dossiers and like fact books on, like other entities of different sorts in regards to Curnon, but for things below that rung, below that kind of like the frivolous kind of rung, I do kind of have like a similar policy with Dan here, where it's just kind of like, yeah, we can just like ignore them. Maybe after a while we can go and like reconcile. Maybe everybody was just being a little bit stupid, and yeah, because like people can change. Like I do think there comes a point where like maybe this person wasn't thinking 100% logically. Maybe they're thinking like maybe they just got like too emotional. They had like some kind of like nervous mental breakdown, and we can just try and leave that behind, and maybe kind of try and like reconcile a bit.
All right.
What changes do you feel are necessary for the survival and well-being of the nation, and how do you plan to implement them?
Ultimately, for the survival and well-being of the nation, I think the number one change that we need is just more people to fill government positions. And I do feel, especially with this new constitution and after these elections, since there will be fewer people in parliament, there will be more people to fill these government positions. And obviously, these people in these government positions are absolutely necessary to make sure that our nation survives and thrives. And that's the ultimate truth. Once all these parliament members, they won't all get reelected. Once they're out of parliament, well, they have jobs waiting for them. They have positions in my administration waiting for them. That's the truth of it. And that's how I've already done so much to implement this with the new constitution and the the Bureau of Education to help train these new employees and teach these employees about Curnon to help get the people that we need. And yeah, that's how I would implement it, and that's how I already have been implementing it so far.
Patrick?
So this can be done in 2 steps. One doesn't have to be done before the other, but one of the steps is a total, just kind of like not total, but like a government rehaul. Because right now, as things stand, everything's kind of gated. Like the prime minister has to know you and what you do to appoint you to an office in the executive. People have to know who you are to be elected to parliament, and so on. So what needs to be done is just kind of like a reform. Make like not like fresh off the boat newcomers, but like make make the common people, like the people that like haven't been around here since day one. Maybe people that have been here for like a couple months. Like make them feel more like welcome, and just kind of give them more of a voice. And then from that point, they'll be more attracted. More people know them, and they're more likely to get government positions. But what the next step from that is just a total like national rebirth, like a renaissance. It's in the GPM manifesto, the renaissance of the Jamahariya. Like just rediscover who like we are like as a nation, because George Bush once said to renew our country, we need to remember our values. So to remember our values, we just have to like assert who we are as a people, and just kind of like really think about that. And because like as things stand, um, uh, former member of Parliament Hazel Bauer,
Power.
is pronounced Bauer, yeah, said that like we're on the verge of factionalism, and that like things are like breaking. So we need to like kind of nib that where it is, and like reel everything back in.
All right. How do you plan to have Curnon further solidify its place within the micronational community and become more well known abroad?
So ultimately, kind of like I said earlier, we just need that outreach. We just need to do stuff like we're doing that way. For example, we're participating in the 2025 MOF Fincher Games. That's making Curnon more well known in the micronational community. If you participate in these micronational events like this, like for example, you go to microcons, right? And
Yes.
that helps solidify Curnon's place within the micronational community, as a micronation that is to be known, to be seen, to be heard, to be revered, It's the simple stuff, the small little stuff that we're doing right now that will help us solidify our place within the micronational community.
Patrick?
I feel like advertising is a big part of this, but it's not the key, because from what I've noticed, most nations that just like advertise a like point blank into like the microwiki server, micronation server, like they're not really like the best places, and people kind of get this pattern that like places that advertise a lot equal kind of just like shoddy, second rate, third rate, kind of just like nations where you won't really thrive. So what we need to do is we need to like come up with a strategy, and I think it's a big job of the Bureau of Foreign Affairs to kind of come up with a policy and outreach, kind of like work with the people, maybe like recruit some people into like a sub office of the bureau on like an outreach like committee, or like just kind of like a sub office, and like come up with like a set like strategy or like a policy on like who are we advertising to, what's the demographic, what values do we want to promote to other people, and just like, and yeah, what Rowan just said, like in actual like media, like we need to come up with like actual like rhetoric of like who we are, and beyond just like hey everybody, we're gay, and we need we need to like we need to like assert ourselves as like an actual like nation, like on the road to like like a serious, almost like a Stefanian like Megranarad, but like not like 100% like we're kind of like on the road there, you know. We need ourselves like on the road there. We need to make like films, music, more like posters. I do graphic design. Like shit, man. If I'm not elected, prime minister, put me in that like graphic design thing. Come on.
All right. I would like to remind the candidates that either person is permitted to take the stage first. It does not always have to be Dan. If you would like it to stay always Dan, then that is all right. But Patrick, if you would like to take the stage first for any of the questions, you are allowed to.
I mean, I'm just trying not to like interrupt anything, and he does it first, so I'm just trying to
All right.
not like interrupt anything.
In your opinion, what are the most immediate and worrying problems within Curnon that need resolved immediately? Dan?
That is a really tough question because I kind of see none. Because the real thing is, if there was an issue, a big issue in Kernan that would need to be solved immediately, I, as the incumbent prime minister, would have obviously done about it. That's the thing. Why would I? Why would there be an issue that Kernan would need to fix immediately that I wouldn't fix right now as the incumbent? That makes no sense. So to me, I really can't think of any because I would have taken care of it by now if there was such an issue.
All right.
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay. People say this is like a big issue, and like oh, I don't know how to tackle this, but like what's really wrong is the separation of powers and like the checks and balances in the government, because I've been dealing with this a lot. You were there. The whole like foreign affairs like debacle where like Parliament is going to set this thing for the Bureau of Foreign Affairs, and it's like, no, the Act of Foreign Agency says the Secretary sets the standards for foreign affairs. So I think a big issue right now is just like Parliament's overreach. And what we need to do is like to rectify that is just I've got a plan. The Common Sense Act, as I like to call it. It's going to be this big book of bills, and they're just gonna like like bills, amendments, and they're just gonna like like solidify and just like really set in stone separation of powers. Another huge threat is just kind of like foreign like meddling, because like I don't want to sound like conspiratorial here, but if you guys read the SDP manifesto, the SDP manifesto, they said they're going to abolish the bureaus and give the prime minister a dictate over, like executive policy, while also sitting as, the presiding officer of parliament, basically making, a parliamentary dictatorship. So that's what my thing is going to resolve and basically make impossible. And it's just we just need to really just like assert our government like as a separate like republic structure, and like it's everything separate.
Could I respond to that?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to say that here's the thing. I wholeheartedly oppose as well the SDP plan to get rid of the bureaus. Personally, that's one of the dumbest ideas I've heard in a long time. I'm just going to be honest. And and I think it does come from a place of foreign influence of sorts because I don't like foreign influence either. And I don't want their style of government to influence ours because we are our own thing. And I want to make sure Curtin stays his own thing as well. I just want to say for the record that I am also wholeheartedly opposed to any foreign intervention or influence, whether that be in the form of government or a foreign government trying to infiltrate our government or elections or something or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, it's a huge problem. Like the SDP, again, I don't want to sound like conspiratorial here, but their past three chairmen have stood to benefit from Hokorian diplomacy with Curnon. Like I'm just gonna leave it at that.
right, they do. There, I'm done.
All right. How do you plan to improve transparency in the decision-making process of Kernon's government? Hello? Patrick,
Well,
did you by chance duct tape his mouth shut? Oh, there he is. My bad.
so I would say ultimately the best thing to do to be more transparent is ultimately I think Kernan needs a Freedom of Information Act, and I should start working on that as soon as this debate's done. But Kernan does need a Freedom of Information Act so that we can make sure that that any non-classified document are available to anyone. And to me, I think that it should be like in this public library so that instead of having to request documents, you can just go search the library and you just find them yourself, takes the government out of it, because I do think there should be less government involved. People should be able to find things themselves and should not be and their freedom of information should not just be at the behest of the government or what the government wants to release. I think everything non-classified should be um uh, should be public information, and I do want more transparency because, like, for example, we do have parliament our parliament channel that's open. Anyone can see it. Anyone can look at what's being passed. And I will admit, I do like Patrick's idea of being able to comment, of ordinary citizens occurring and being able to comment on stuff like that. That is one thing about Patrick's policies that I do like. But yeah, I'm done.
So, my solution to this is it's another big point from the GPM manifesto. Go read that if you guys haven't. It's in the campaigning and posters channel. I'll probably repost it after after this debate. But the solution to like this issue of like, oh, there's no transparency is just like give the quirk some more power. I'm not just saying that just because I'm the quirk. The quirk wasn't supposed to be a position of power, but like now it kind of seems like it needs to be. But what the solution to this issue is have the quirk collect everything from Parliament. Maybe like work with the Grand Cabinet, get some executive stuff, and just make a big just like book, put it on like the Curnon website, put it somewhere that like people can see that, because like people overlook our like offices right now because there isn't like incentive to do that. People are like, oh, where can I find this thing? It's only for like other government people that are like, hey, where was this thing at? Like, people need to see like what we do. People need to see what goes on. So like the solution to solve that is to just like make absolutely everything like concise, clear, publicly accessible. And yeah, I don't oppose the idea of like the freedom of information, but the thing is, all the information's already free. It's just buried somewhere, like rotting in some Discord channel that's been like archived for like 2 months. So we just need to bring all. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, we just need to bring all that like to the surface.
And that is what I want to do. Sorry. Sorry, can I respond real
sorry.
quick?
No, it's all right. You can talk.
Oh, yeah. That is what I want to do with this whole library thing. I do want to take all those buried documents and then bring them to the surface, per se, to help with that. So I do agree with you on that. I do that.
Yeah.
That is part of what I want to do.
Yeah.
All right. What actions will you take to prevent infiltration and/or foreign intervention within Kernan's government by those in opposition to the values of the nation?
I'm big on counterintelligence. We need to have these people. We really need to see here's something. Ultimately, the truth is, we should be preventing this stuff before it even has a chance to happen. We should be using our resources, using stuff like the 3IA and all the national security apparatuses to help out and prevent this stuff before it even happens. Counterintelligence is one of my favorite words and one of the best things to describe my policy and my approach towards things like this to prevent foreign infiltration and to prevent harm for those nations who go against the values of our nation.
All right, Patrick?
I kind of agree with Dan, like, partially here. We just need to, like, find them where they are. And, you know, like, active threats. We need to, like, the 3AA, we need to, like, get our, you know, like, intelligence, our, like, national security resources, and just, like, produce a list of, like, unfriendly entities with that, and, you know, just, you know, like, keep monitoring them, who's affiliated, who's on their way, who's in, are they safe, or do they know what they've signed up for associating with that group, can we talk them out of it, you know, like, those kind of, you know, like, rapid fire, like, urgency things. And we, like, I don't want to say profile people, because, again, we just need to treat people as, you know, like, individual people that don't belong, you know, like, any, like, greater kind of, like, hive mind or anything, because that doesn't exist. Like, there are no, like in like, the real world, there are no, like, organized, like, terrorist, like, organizations. Like, there is no, like, Al-Qaeda hierarchy. It's just a bunch of people that are like, oh, I like this guy, I'm gonna swear my oath to him. So, like, it's like we just need to, like, realize that, like, these kinds of, like, you know, like, groups that, like, pose a threat to us, they don't really have, like you know, like, a top down, like, enforcement. So what we need to do is, like, from there, just kind of, like, adapt and, like, really, like, understand, like, who people are, like, individually, and, like, what their actual, like, associations are, and then act on that.
All right. How would you approach conflicts or disagreements between members of the government?
Well, this has already been seen in my administration because because half the time my parliament was more like a kindergarten than a parliament. So ultimately, I kind of had to try to calm everyone down and be like, hey, everyone, you know, we all have a disagreement, and, you know, try to calm everyone down as a prime minister, you know. At the end of that day specifically, I did have to kind of yell at everyone, be like, hey, stop that! Stop acting like children! And then once I got everyone to calm down, I was able to resolve whatever dispute, and we did get a clerk elected. But here's the thing: that clerk left the second he left Curnon entirely, and it's crazy, I know, but ultimately, I feel I have good conflict resolution skills. I can resolve disputes within Curtin's government. You know, that's one of the best benefits of me being an independent candidate is that a lot more people are willing to listen to me. You know, to listen to me to compromise, and compromise is how you get things done. My compromising has got so much things done in this term, and my compromising will get so many more things done in this next term.
So I kind of just want to like respond to that. I feel like we're kind of beyond the line of compromise here, like because there are just like some figures. I don't want to like name names, but like there's some figures that just like they don't budge like at all, and they provoke, they yell, they use names, and like they get in your head. They stick their hand in like into your ear and like rub their fingers around inside of your skull, seeing what makes you tick, so they can know and use that to provoke you. So, and Slant made a bill, and it was like, you can't say this, and I made an alternative bill and got that bill repealed, thankfully. But it was like, you can't provoke people, and ever since that, things have been good. So it's just like we don't need to be like bilateral or bilateral about it. We need to kind of like do armed neutrality almost, like just kind of like suck it up about each other before anything comes out. In that way, like if people disagree, they'll just politely disagree instead of going, dude, you're so old. Why are you even here, man? What's going on? What's
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What is your stance on community input when drafting or amending laws?
I wholeheartedly support it, because it's ultimately should be the people who decide, right? Obviously we are a representative democracy, and the people elect representatives, the parliamentarians, to vote. But ultimately, they should still have an input. Obviously not to the point of mob rule and direct democracy, but but the community should have input. There should be a space where they can speak on bills that and provide their opinions, and the parliamentarians must take that into consideration because obviously they're held accountable to the people. Ideally, that's ideally, and and here's the thing. Ultimately, in Kernan, it should be how democracies work everywhere, but it's not, unfortunately, because humans are corrupt. But I don't see any corruption in Kernan. So in Kernan, the people hold the politicians accountable ultimately because the politicians are not supposed to be accountable to themselves or to their pockets. So ultimately, I fully support Kernan having citizens be able to provide their input on bills. There should be like a channel for that, or to provide their input on certain bills and stuff in a civil way. Now, there shouldn't be no like argument or acting like children. I don't want the citizens to act like children like Parliament has in the past. But yeah, I fully support that, and I do, and that's a point of Patrick, and I do agree with him on that.
This will be the last question of this section of the debate.
I didn't go.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Oh crap!
Dude.
I'm sorry. My apologies for getting a little bit trigger happy. Patrick, you can go, and I apologize for cutting you off.
Yeah, it's fine. So, um, I know everybody knows like who I'm gonna name here, but like, Gaddafi, the idea, he said, like representative democracy sucks because like the people kind of just like hand the keys over to the representatives, and they're just kind of like trust me, bro. I'm like, yeah, we'll represent you, and Parliament hasn't done that. It's all been like political agendas. So I already have this like jotted down, like my plans for if I'm elected. Yeah, I call it the Open Forum Act because 1983 there was a Ronnie Dangerfield stand up where like people just kind of started like intercepting into like the stand up, and he's like, who made us an open forum all of a sudden? So it was like Open Forum Act. So it would let I haven't really like decided on like the method of like where it's gonna be like a parliament vote to let people speak, or like the general secretary approves, but essentially it would let people speak on the floor of Parliament, and essentially that would be the first step to a more like popular, like people's democracy where the people rule.
All right. This will be the last question of this section of the debate. What are the fundamental values of Curnon in your opinion?
It's very easy. The number one value of Curnon is equality. Everyone is equal. It don't matter who you are. Everyone is equal. It's literally on our flag, the Kyone. It's literally the equal sign. That's our number one value in Curnon. Our other number two value is diversity, making sure everyone is heard. We all united as one Kurnish people. Yet within that Kurnish people, we are so diverse and so different, and it is beautiful. It makes Curnon what Curnon is, and I love it. I wouldn't change a thing about it. And another value we have is acceptance. It don't matter who you are, what views you have, who you like, what your color your skin is, who you pray to. We will accept you. We will. We will care for you. We will treat you as one of our own. We will integrate you, and it's a part of our values. Those are the three big values. It is equality, diversity, and acceptance are the three values of Kernan that define us as a nation and as people.
Patrick?
I put this at the very end of the GPA manifesto, which I'll be reposting later. But it's just like resistance, unity, and community. And without any of those, the rest of them fall. So all of them kind of like work together. It's in the model, resistance and unity. And it's just as straightforward as that, because you need community to have unity, and you need unity to make resistance. What are we making resistance against? Whatever comes our way. It's just as simple as,
All right. We will now be moving on to the second section of the debate. Quick fire questions. Please keep your answers to under a minute. What is your top priority if elected?
National security. That's the top priority. National security, like I pointed out earlier, protecting Kernan against all foreign influence and all bad foreign influence, like making sure that they're not influencing our policy, making sure they're not influencing our elections, making sure that we are safe from foreign influence, making sure that the people of Kernan are safe. That's my number one priority.
All right.
the people.
Oh my god! Only 2 words, okay. How would you prevent hostilities between nations and foreign intervention by them?
As you seen the other day when I was speaking on the JJ podcast, right? There were threats of them doing something stupid like declaring war. I prevented that. And that day, I improved relations with those people, right? They hate us less now. They respect us more after having spoken to them. I have the ability to prevent bad hostilities. I have the ability to make peace. I have this ability. I have proven it, and I will continue.
All right.
Find them where they are, make the clear distinction: is it a joke or are they actually going to do it, and then act on whatever decision comes after that.
All right. How do you define good leadership?
good leadership is ultimately having certain qualities and certain characteristics. It is kind of different for everyone. But in my personal view, good leadership means you care genuinely about those you're leading and not about yourself. It means no matter what, that you always have the best interests of the people you are leading in mind. It means that you are not infallible. You must admit your faults. You must admit when you're wrong, because no person is infallible. Any person who claims that they are is just wrong. So to me, that's good leadership.
Set an example, and create a legacy among the people that they want to emulate.
All
And
right,
just being a good person.
fair enough. What is your approach to resolving disputes quickly?
Just talk to them. You know, like be reasonable. Like, hey, listen, I don't want to deal with this right now. Can we just talk? Can we just talk about this? You know, we don't have to do this. What is it you want? Why are you disputing with us? We can be reasonable. We can compromise while being firm in our own position and not being and at the same time not I can't think of the word right now. Our own position. That's not so compromise without compromising our own position. Because we want to make a deal with them, but making sure that our position is still firm. So we are strong still. Basically, just talk. It's all about talking.
All right.
Meet them in the middle, and like there's kind of like steps to it. Try and put yourself in their shoes. If you can't do that, then try and meet them in the middle. And if you can't do that, then just try and like lay it off for a bit, then tackle it after a couple days, or like however long it takes. And then from there, usually, thing can be rectified, and just like try to make a deal without sacrificing anything.
All right. What is Curnon in the most dire need of? Hello? Dan? Who duct taped his mouth shut? Hello? Dan, you can talk. Hello? Oh my god. Patrick, you can go first if need be.
Faith.
Okay, only one word. I suppose we're just waiting for Dan Pierce to return. Dan, get up, talk. It is your turn. I did say something. I said, what is Curnon in the most dire need of? Dan Pierce. What is Curnon in the most dire need of? Patrick already responded. I will be re-inviting him back to the stage. There we go. Dan, what is Curnon in the most dire need of?
Government employees. I thought I already said that, but yeah, government employees.
All right. How would you celebrate Kernon's achievements?
Kernon's achievements must be celebrated mostly with the stuff like holidays, beaches and stuff. Showing, display, awarding those who helped along the way. That's how we celebrate.
Commemoration.
How do you plan to improve communication with members and citizens?
We just need to go into the general chat and just talk to people. Just talk to people. It's so simple. Like, go into general chat, talk with people, talk with your people, talk with the people you represent. So simple.
Populism.
What is our largest threat and how do you plan to resolve it?
I think one of the largest threats right now that we're facing right now is just foreign intervention and influence, ultimately, because I can't quite prove it yet, but I do feel that there is foreign intervention in our government, or at least attempted foreign intervention in our government. And I feel that's the biggest threat to Kernan and his people right now.
The Hakorian lobby smashed the triumvirate.
What is our greatest strength as a community and nation?
It's our acceptance on those national values that I listed, which is equality, diversity, and acceptance. Those three are the biggest good qualities of Kernan.
Unity.
Finally, why are you qualified to be the Prime Minister?
Ultimately, I'm qualified to be Prime Minister because, well, I have a long experience in government. I have already been the Prime Minister. 100% approval rating. They say you can't make everyone happy, but I did. I'm out here doing great. I'll continue to do great.
I give a shit, and I have experience.
Probably shouldn't say that word during the debate.
I was hoping we
It's
could
just
go
coming
through
from
this.
the heart, man. It's coming from the heart.
I'm going to be completely honest. I was so dearly hoping we could get through this without making a curse, but I almost did on accident, and then you simply did just very question. Come on, man. All right. We will now be taking questions from the audience. Prime Minister electorates, candidates for Prime Minister can ask each other questions as well. Hello?
Ask me something.
You can ask each other anything.
I don't
Rowan,
have questions.
you can ask something. All right. Rowan, you can ask anything. Dan, you can also ask anything. Rowan, our recorder, is literally the only person in the audience. This is a bit disappointing.
Hit me. Come on.
Rowan said, "What do y'all think of national symbols and making more of them? Like more things to identify us."
Oh.
Oh, great. Okay. I'll let him back on. Don't worry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Rowan said, "What do y'all think of national symbols and making more of them, like more things to identify us?"
National symbols are awesome. Curnon has the best national symbol ever. You cannot convince me otherwise. The Kiana stick out on everything. It's so perfect, so simple, and it encapsulates us so well. We should have more national symbols, and our current national symbols are awesome.
Awesome.
I just want to let you know your microphone is popping terribly. It's kind of hurting my ears.
It sounds like a popcorn kernel.
I'm sorry, that's my bad.
No, I mean it's not like a problem. It's just kind of like it's kind of jarring. But yeah, I do think national symbols are a great way of like identity and like making like a formula for making more of them would be great. It's awesome. I love symbols. I love graphic design.
All right. By the way, you don't need to unmute for this section. You can ask each other anything and just discuss the elections in general at this time. Roland asked, "What do you think of journalism?"
I love journalism.
Super important. I agree. I love journalism. I love doing journalism. I hope to have more journalism in Kernan.
I'm currently thinking of any questions.
I definitely do think we need to like make more like ways for people to like interact in Curnon, like with like journalistic organizations, like religious organizations, stuff like that. Kind of like non-government organizations, like make a way for people to officially create organizations. The creation of a news outlet, I have Cahelia. I don't think the state should own a news outlet. Like, even if it's, like, unbiased, I don't think any news outlet should be affiliated with the state.
Alright. Do you have any plans within Kernon's website, or improving it, or remodeling it, or anything along those lines?
I've been working on making new websites for Kernan to help with that stuff. I have experience in making websites and domain names and all that, so I can definitely be of value when it comes to Kernan's web presence.
Yeah, definitely make it, like, more, like, accessible, because right now it essentially reads like it's trying to be a wiki, because like, if you just, like, go on, like, one of the main pages, scroll down, it has, like, population, land area, no, people can go to MicroWiki for that. That's not what the website is for. The website is supposed to be the face. It's supposed to be, like, like a brochure, like a postcard.
Alright.
Make it touristy, make it attractive, make people want to join.
Rowan asked, "What do y'all think of expansion on other social media platforms, or just on social media?"
Definitely, I love it. I want, like, I would make a Twitter, but I know people hate Twitter, and plus, like, I don't want to, like, share an account with anybody, so, like, I wouldn't even be the one to do that in the first place, but, like, I definitely do not oppose it. I think we need more to, like, outreach, like, just like outwards, and just like show people who like we really are beyond random gay, the people, lefty, hyper woke nation.
Ultimately, we need one of those people to start making them TikTok edits.
No.
That's a joke, obviously, but
The revolution is through aura and hype moments.
obviously that's a joke, obviously, but you gotta attract people with social media, expand, on social media. Maybe make an Instagram page or something. I want to use TikTok. I don't like TikTok, but maybe
Yeah,
an Instagram page.
that's the problem for me, because I definitely could not be like a social media manager. I don't do Snapchat, I don't do Instagram, I don't do TikTok, I don't do fucking Tumblr. I didn't mean to swear, but I didn't mean to swear that time. But I don't do Tumblr. Yeah, it's just like I really only care about like Twitter and like that's about it. I know we tried to do a lot of like Reddit stuff in the past, but like Reddit is where like the worst come from. If you guys saw that one JJ episode, you would know.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I am just going to say that I personally am nearly solely responsible for Curnon having any presence on Reddit, and that is literally, specifically, simply, and only so we would pop up on a search engine more.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, yeah, we need the publicity, but that's not it. That's not it, man.
It did kind of backfire, because if I search
do-
Curnon Micronation right now, if I go onto the page, it has our name on it, but all of the flags are the oligarch flag. Literally every single one is the oligarch flag.
I do concur
Except for
that with
one.
a Patrick, that Reddit's folk
Jesus!
is not the kind of folk. Oh, sorry, gotta interrupt.
No, your microphone exploded.
Oh my god.
It like screeched at me.
I'm gonna yell at my brother to get off the game.
I do hate that Conan's search engine has everything on the first section of it is the oligarch flag, except for one Unitary Republic of Current flag on MicroWiki. And I've tried to revert this by deleting all of the posts that I could, but they're still up on Google. And
Well,
one of them
yeah,
is insanely
because
glitched out.
when you delete stuff, it doesn't. It only like deletes the text, and it only like reverts the post to like u/deleted. So like it still has like the image and like the fact that the post existed.
Damn, that sucks. All right.
We need to get someone that like knows the algorithm, but
Yeah,
not me
we need someone who
because
knows the algorithm.
I'm not making an Instagram account. I tried to make an Instagram account for myself once, and the moment I signed in, it locked me out because my phone number was bad or something.
Dang. All right. Y'all can simply discuss with each other on literally anything. I am going to see if I can pull up a few more questions. It has been an increasingly worrying situation to some in Korea that it has become essentially a two-party state between the General People's Movement and the Social Democratic Party. Although I personally do not see this as much of an issue, as 70% of Kernan is independent, how would you plan to prevent this two-party system from taking place?
I mean, it's already taken place. I mean, like, I think it's a problem because I don't like my opponents all being the same people. Because I like Willow, I like Dan, but like it kind of gets old that like my like two opponents are both Social Democratic Party, so it's getting old. It's gonna lead to factionalism. It's gonna if we let it snowball long enough, it's gonna be the downfall of the Republic. So yeah, that's bad.
Now, hold on, I'd like to clear something up. Patrick just insinuated that I'm affiliated with the Social Democratic Party. I am not affiliated.
I didn't say that.
So you said your two opponents are the Social Democratic Party. You said
Oh
two
no, I
opponents.
meant Plam and Slant.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. I just want to clear up that I'm not affiliated with any party in any way.
Yeah,
And
I know you're independent. I was talking about Plam and Slant because they're always the ones that like go after me whenever I say anything.
that makes more sense. Ultimately, to fight the two-party system in Kernan, you need to elect more candidates like me. You need to elect more people in the parliament who are independent. You need to elect more independent prime ministers. That's what we need. I am part of the fight against the two-party system in Kernan.
All right. I believe that should be all from this debate. I do not think anyone has any other questions, and I personally cannot at this moment come up with any myself. Nobody else has any questions, correct?
I don't.
Then we
what
shall.
did they say? Should Curnon develop more video presence. Yes, I love video editing. Again, like if I don't make it for Prime Minister, even if I am elected, and you guys need some tips or something, just like call me in. I love editing videos.
I absolutely think we should have more of a video presence. I concur, and I would hire whoever video editors we can get. You know, I know that Roman, my deputy prime minister and running mate, is an awesome video editor, and I know he would be amazing in helping us out. So yes, I would like Curnon to have a more video presence on platforms like YouTube.
All right. How should we handle jurisdiction governments, such as Castella Province and regions in the capital, South City?
What'd you say?
How should we handle jurisdiction between subsections within Curnon, such as regions in the capital, South City, and Castella Province?
I think the system we have now is fine.
Yeah,
Like I feel like if one like special place gets enough people, they can have some more autonomy. But as things stand now, Castella's writing its own constitution. It's getting some more people. I fully support that. Is like as long as they aren't like on the verge of like seceding like violently. It's just like I don't think like once you're in Curnon, you're always in Curnon. Like, I think that like at some point, like if like a province like really wants to leave, then we can let them leave. Like I feel like if we like the new St. John's thing back when they were like dissolving and like kind of like dishing out their territory. Like I feel like if we actually went through the talks and like did that annexation thing, and uh, like we would have had to make the exception that like yeah they can revoke that agreement.
All right.
Anyway, I would like to say that I think politics great because ultimately the system we have now perfectly fine, just fine. I don't see any issue with whatsoever, and I don't think we'll have any secessionist movements in Kernan. We are North Carolinians. We already know that secession will end that for us.
I assume that all of the questions have been done.
I mean, there's people typing. I don't know if they have questions.
All right. Opinion on Kernan's national flag and emblem, such as changing the flag throughout our history.
They're great.
Anything along those lines? All right.
Great.
All right. Just making sure.
Excuse me.
I'd say this concludes. Yeah, that's fine. This has been going on for a good hour.
Are we done? Has anyone said anything yet?
I'll say we're done.
All right. The debate shall conclude here. It's over now. I hope y'all had an excellent time debating. And may the best candidate win.
Thank you.
The debate is over, but you can stay.